Morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. So this is just to talk through a current project we've been working on with Thermo Fisher, just sort of outsourcing some of our current buffers. So just a little bit about Fujifilm Diasynth and kind of what we do and who we are. So these are our core values, and hopefully you'll kind of see these come through in the presentation. So the one of the main ones is trust. So, one of the things that's said a lot on our site is we do what we say we do, and we do it on the time we say we'll do it. So, so that's kind of a key to our business, really. The other thing we like to try and do is delight our customers. So that's, external customers that we're making products for, internal customers, our, fellow colleagues we're working with, and ultimately, the people who are getting our life-changing medicines. Another key aspect is Gemba. So Gemba obviously comes from our owners in Tokyo, but it's basically go see. So if we have a problem on plant, we don't try and solve it from a meeting room or trying to do RCA without actually going and looking at the problem. So get on plant, go see the problem where it is. And then we say Genki as well. So Genki is about the attitude that you kind of bring to your workplace. So it's often sort of Gemba with Genki is the phrase. So, go see it, but do it with the right attitude. So they're kind of our core values that we work with every day. What we do, so we're a world-leading contract development manufacturing organisation. We're currently operating out of 3 sites. So we have Billingham, northeast of England. We have a site in North Carolina, that's the RTP site. And we have one out of College Station in Texas. Between the 3 sites, we have 8 licenses for commercial manufacturing. So we have 2 out of the Billingham site where I work, and we've got 6 out of the RTP site. We're involved in 3 technology areas. So Billingham and RTP are primarily focused on microbial and mammalian manufacturing and process development. And the Texas site is focused on mammalian cell culture and has also a capability for viral and gene therapy, which you see is obviously a growing area. Between the 3 sites, we've done 44 process characterization, process validation projects. So we've got a lot of experience of sort of commercializing products and taking them through the clinical journey. We've been around a long time, sort of longer than I've been in the industry anyway, greater than 25 years. And currently, we have over 300 live projects, sort of, in either process development and or manufacturing. We don't always get projects for manufacturing endpoint, but we'll help customers develop the process to make it more effective and more robust. So just a quick overview of the Billingham site. So my responsibility as sort of technical operations manager is microbial fermentation only. So we have, like I said, we have microbial and mammalian capacity. So I'm looking after microbial fermentation streams 1, 2, 3. So MF1 and 2, they're 5,000 litre scale fermentation upstream, and then we have associated separations and purification suites. Microbial fermentation 3 is a slightly smaller scale, so that's 100 litre scale fermentation. In there, we manufacture products which are potent, so sort of your band Bs and such like that, which we couldn't manufacture in MF1-2 because it presented such a cross-contamination risk. MF4 there, that's a 100 litre scale. That's actually run by our PD group, R&D, so I don't have any sort of oversight of that, they just kind of look after themselves. We also have our mammalian cell culture asset at the back there, and then behind that, at the top screen, we have our GMP warehouse. So you can see actually by the nature of the site, we've got the site boundary at the back there. We're quite sort of landlocked as a site now, and space is becoming a bit of an issue. We have actually just acquired this land down here at the front, so hopefully if everything goes well, we'll kind of be expanding and developing further over the road. So hopefully that'll happen in the next 5 years or so. So the challenge for us is we've got kind of 6 manufacturing streams to support. So you might have counted them and said, well, MF1, 2, 3, 4, MCC. we can't MCC as 2 streams because of the length of the upstream. We can do downstream operations and start another batch in the upstream. So we have 6 manufacturing streams to support. And the challenge from the business is how do we sort of increase the throughput through the assets? In my world, in microbial, we have one buffer preparation suite, which serves 3 streams. We've done constraint analysis on our capacity, and that has always been identified as a bottleneck. Sort of about 12 months ago, we did a sort of green belt in the area in the buffer preparation suite, looking at how do we, just through ways of working, how do we up capacity and up efficiencies in the area to get more buffers out in a working week. We did make an improvement, but the challenge is how do we go faster and bigger again. Against that, the backdrop is that there's no proposed capital investment for making another buffer prep plant on our site because we haven't got the space, and we haven't got any capital investment for sort of new technology, sort of inline dilutions or inline conditioning systems. So we had a bit of a challenge of, well, how do we do it? Just to help you kind of visualize the challenge, so this is kind of a snapshot of our asset plan. So the way we currently manufacture, so this is MF1, MF2 streams, and the way we operate our campaigns, we weave between the streams. So while one is in manufacture, the other will be in changeover, because we're not that efficient yet at changeover. The future state is run both streams in parallel. So how do we kind of, we had to make a change essentially. We couldn't do it the way we're currently doing it, so we had to do something different. So we looked at, what is the opportunity to eliminate waste. So we just quickly looked at what are the common solutions we use for sort of cleaning of our equipment, process contact cleaning. So by that I mean sort of cleaning of your chromatography resin, your UF cassettes. It's very clear that we have to differentiate between those two. We looked at sort of, how long does it take to make one of those solutions in the buffer prep suite. So a lot of time and motion studies happened. How many were made over the course of a year. So, like I said, we've been gathering this data for a long time. It's not something that we're just done, or decide to do very quickly. So you can see there sort of nearly 1,000 sort of man hours of just prepping solutions that are used for cleaning, and not adding much value to the business. The next step was kind of process mapping. So it's kind of been touched on already in previous presentations, which is kind of good to hear. So we mapped the journey of sort of, we're going to make one sodium hydroxide solution. What's the start and end point of that? So starting at raw material receipt in the warehouse, you have to book it in. You need planning to place the orders, manage the kind of orders to the suppliers. Then we need to sample it. Again, involves planning. You need to involve quality control. You need people from quality control to come over. You need to speak to them. You need materials to actually take the samples. You then into storage and transport. So, this is a lot of capacity planning for the warehouse. We then have to arrange raw material deliveries to the manufacturing assets. And then the manufacturing assets themselves also have to manage their internal capacity in their set-down areas, because, it's very much a logistical problem. Then we're into kind of quality aspects. So we've already kind of talked about, quality have to issue the raw material consumable specifications. You'll have all the release tests and all the paperwork associated to that. You'll then have to issue batch records to document the solution preparation. And then finally you get to prepare the buffer. So you'll need to clean your vessel, complete a cleaning batch record to do that. You've got the cost of the inputs, your water, your raw materials, your people to do it, and you're planning, when can I do it, when on the asset plan can I do that buffer prep. You're then going to execute the batch records, make your buffer, and then review it and check that everything's being filled in contemporaneously. Complete your logbooks and do all your SAP transactions to meet stream materials consumption. Post-preparation, you then into sort of quality review, review of the cleaning batch records, review logbooks, review of the executed documents. So you can see just one small part of the business actually ripples massively through every other function really. And from our analysis, we kind of came up with a value that we could save 66 processing days alone in buffer prep by outsourcing our sodium hydroxide solutions and our cleaning solutions which is obviously it's a massive saving, and that's sort of, you know, that's really helpful for us as a business. So in terms of our approach, we started, like I said, with our CIP solutions and our process contact cleaning solutions, mainly because they present the lowest risk to our current processes. And also because we could accurately forecast volumes, we had the data previously to say, well, roughly we know how much we consume in a year, and that'll help us with conversations with the vendors. We don't want to get in a situation where we're given really, really bad forecasts, because that's not in anyone's interest. So we used the tender process. This was initially a paper process, and then we switched to face-to-face for the final stages. And we scored the different vendors against fixed selection criteria. One key part was obviously capability, so we're looking at what grade water different vendors could supply, purified water, WFI, and we're also looking at sort of capability and experience of sterile liquids handling. Lead time is important, kind of similar to the question that's been touched on before. You know, these were custom items. How quickly could we get them up and running? How quickly can we get them to site? Cost, obviously, it's an important consideration, but it wasn't the ultimate consideration in this process. Location, you know, we did talk about having a sensible supply chain and sort of transportation costs. It was really sort of key to us. And obviously Brexit was discussed as well. What's the implication of Brexit? We still don't know, so, but that was part of the discussion. Our vendor performance rating, so our site, our supply chain department, we have a vendor performance rating, so it's really key that we partner up with someone who's reliable and gets stuff to our warehouse when they say they're going to do. Otherwise, this could impact us processing. Plug and play, so that was really key for this project. So currently our buffers are prepared in stainless steel vessels, 0.2 micron filtered, and we store in 1,000 litre bags. They have 15 metre 1-inch silicon tubing outlet, which terminates in a tri-clamp fitting, which will then attach directly onto our processing equipment. So for us, we had to replicate this functionality 100%. There was no point getting to a solution which is 80%, because the guys on the shop floor would just come back with, well, it's not solved problems, given to us a different problem. So that was really key. Packaging was a really important consideration. We went with IBCs, which would come sort of shrink wrapped and covered. So these solutions will go into our clean rooms. So ability to clean down was really important, and safe transportation. You know, we didn't want any sort of the corrosive solutions we'll be handling. We didn't want any sort of loss of containment. And kind of to date, everything's going well. You know, the tender process and the vendor response was really essential to that. Like I said, the business scorecard we assessed, and Thermo Fisher are kind of one of our top suppliers, and our experience with it has actually reaffirmed that. And it was really interesting. One of the key things for me was on the face-to-face tender. So some vendors sent sort of 1 or 2 people. I think Thermo sent a busload down from Glasgow for like 1 hour, for a 1 hour meeting. But actually, we had all the key people in the room. So very quickly, we got all the right questions out on the table, and we reached a really mutual understanding of what the problems we had and what we're trying to do. So the plug and play issue was really well understood. And we see this as just the start of a collaboration. You know, hopefully we'll take it on from here, but we don't want it to be just a buy and sell transactional relationship. We want it to just be a partnership. And this ultimately will allow us to kind of, you know, get rid of some of the simple stuff, and we'll focus on the hard stuff of making life-changing medicines. Okay? Thank you.